Well, hello, it's Dr. Chris Lemmon, and this is my September talk. And welcome back if you've been following this series. And if you're not, welcome to join in. Uh, this talks about balance. I use balance in a lot of terms, and you see it show up on blogs, but let me kind of explain some of the concept. Originally, when we're born, I think it's pretty obvious. We spend our entire life trying to learn some sense of balance. I mean, we had to learn to sit up, we had to learn to walk, we had to learn to move our hands, we had to learn to reach, to touch. We learned to play games, we had to learn to maneuver, learn not to fall down. Children fall down a lot. Uh, and it's okay when kids fall down. Us old people, they don't like us falling down very much because we get broken pretty easy. But life is simply a struggle. You get good at something and you get into a balance. Now, I talked to in my talks, I had said I had done a lot of dancing in life, and I didn't do any sports. I was not interested. I couldn't get the idea of doing something to win. Uh, it just, it didn't seem like it was engaging. I know a lot of people like playing, throwing the ball around, whatever. To me, that was never very interesting. So I danced. And so that was my sense of finding balance, movement, hand movement, whatever it takes to make that accommodating. And did we win acknowledged awards? Well, yeah, but for the most part, that was never my particular goal. I never tried to win anything. I just went for the fun of it. So just the very nature of balance. We're never born balanced. We simply move in that direction. But this is where it gets to be kind of interesting. So let me give you a little segue story. Imagine you were taking, let's say, a college class, and the teacher said, "We're going to have a test on some material in a week. So I'm going to send you a document. It's around 100 words, not that complicated. You got a whole week to read it, and then we'll have a test on it. So I'll send it to your computer, or I've got it on a line. You just download it. Okay? Not a problem." And so everybody says, "Hey, that's an easy, no problem." So when they get it and they take a look at it, maybe they read the first 20 pages or something, kind of go through it and look at it a little bit. And the next night they come back and they're kind of got their head around, well, I'll read a little bit each night, kind of review. And the next night that they go on there, at the bottom it said updated. It's blinking. They go, oh. So they go back and look what they had read last night, and it's changed a little bit. Like, wow, that's weird. So they kind of review a little bit, see what changed, and go, that's really strange. And then they start reading a little more. And then on the third night, they get it, and it says updated at the bottom. And then they look at what they've already read. It's like, holy cow, what I read the first night's been changed again. And what I read last night's been changed again. Like, okay, so now you hit a breaking point for a lot of people, no matter what it is. And some people just say, this is stupid. Forget it. I'm not even doing this. I'm not participating. Color me gone. Okay. That's one move we all see. Another move that we see is people sit there and go, wow, I'm going to have to review a little bit every night. I've got to figure out a program. I have to spend more time with this. They're looking at a struggle, right? So it's like they're making it complicated. They're looking at a struggle. Then the schemers, they would say, okay, heck with this. I'm just going to wait till the night before the test. I'm going to read the whole 100 pages, allocate time. I'll just get ahead of my other stuff. And then I'll take the text the next morning. If it gets updated a little bit the night before, I'll still get a good grade. Like whatever. It's everybody's going to do some type of a workaround. And some of them are just going to, some will actually just read it every night, so many pages, and never even notice that it's been updated. Don't even pay attention to that little blinking update. Maybe they click on it and nothing happens and they go, oh, whatever. Uh, that's how we work with change. Now, here we are, born into this planet in form, and this planet is in a state of change. It's evolving. That's what we call time. Every second is different. Every second, boom, boom, but it's very slow. Not in a week with all those updates, but in a lifetime with updates. I was born in the 40s. I'm just telling you, almost on every level, the world is very different today than what it was when I was a kid and the world I was born into. Uh, I talk to people that are somewhere 19, 20 years old, and they got a phone in their hand. And I said, I remember when phones came out, and they're looking at me like, huh? I mean, a phone was something that always was. And they go, what did you do before a phone? Well, we had pay phones. Uh, but another thing is that we made appointments and we actually showed up, and nobody had to call us and remind us. So the world was a very different creature. It's in a state of change, right? What we had to do, what I had to do, what we all had to do is we ignore like that updating file. Some of us ignore it. Some of us say, I'm not participating, and we just kind of step out of life. Uh, some of us simply cloister down and sit there watching television all the time and don't realize that's on its way to getting phased out too. Uh, they don't pay attention to, they don't catch the changes. They just sit in a world that's very, very distant. I can remember I had gone to see some, I don't even remember what it is, but it was some esoteric New Age type movie. And a friend of mine gave me a CD that he had bought, made a copy, of course, illegally, and gave me a copy. It said, oh, here, if you want to copy that. I said, well, I've already seen it. He said, oh, no, this is really great. So I didn't know what to do with it. So I was going to visit my parents. I gave my parents them that copy. They put it in and they watched it, and they couldn't understand anything. It's like everything was totally foreign to them. Like, wow. I mean, it's just 20, 21, 22 years older than me. Now both are past. But they just, they looked at me and they said, we couldn't understand anything. We couldn't understand what they were trying to do. We just couldn't get it at all. I said, don't worry about it. Just throw the thing away. It's like, whatever. Change, they had not stayed current on. So they were just kind of confused. Uh, they didn't stay current. They watched the same TV programs they watch, mostly fictitious, no data. They watch the news, which is pretty much no data today. All of that comes into play, and it's just like that's the way it operated for them. You start to see the idea that they might have been imbalanced in their world, day to day in process, but when they had to interface with someone else, they had to go make an appointment, they had to change the insurance, they had to do something. They were just really out of phase. Uh, and and I'm really out of phase because I have a telephone. I have it off. I don't carry a phone, and I don't have it turned on. So the only way to contact me is to email me. I just made it very simple. Uh, Email me, and I will either email you back or I'll plug my phone in and call you. So if you email me, give me a number. You can't call me. So I get a kick out of things. Like I go to a car, get my car serviced. I take it over and I get it serviced. And the guy said, okay, just leave it and we'll about an hour or so and we'll call you when it's ready. I said, well, number one, are you going to call me or text me? Well, I don't know. I said, okay, well, either way, I don't have a phone. They go, huh? I said, well, I don't have a phone. So give me an idea of when you think it's going to be done and I will be back. And he's kind of looking at me dumbfounded. He said, well, can we email you? I said, you can't email me because you send me ads. I don't want ads. So everybody that sends me ads, I put them on blocked email. So therefore, there's no way you can email me. There's no way you can call me. And there's no way you can text me. So really, what you have to do, you have to look and you have to say, be back in X amount of time. You have to think about it and you have to figure out what it's going to do, what's it going to take. And they're just, they sit there staring at me like they have no clue. Um, well, come back in about an hour and sit in the front office there and we'll come get you. I said, okay, I got a book, no problem, you know. Um, because I'm not operating the way they operate. So I don't know if I'm out of balance or they're out of balance. I'm ancient, so I guess, I'd be out of balance in the world. And it's becoming their world and not my world. But I do that because I'm not interested in all those distractions. I don't know if you like all those ads all the time you get and dancing little characters on the side and all that silliness. Uh, I actually operate my computer with the sound off. I look at what's going on and I then decide if I want to. I see their mouth moving. I decide whether I want to listen to it or not. And 9 times out of 10, I just turn it off, delete. That's it. Uh, so I miss out on a lot of ads. I miss out on current events. I never owned a TV, so I can't ever tell you that I watch TV news. I haven't. Uh, do do I care about the news? Well, there's a lot of things that I might care about, but things that I don't have much of an impact in, I don't care too much about. So if it's local news, things that are going on in a community, I most certainly check in with community groups that I have and volunteered to be part of. And I participate in a lot of that stuff. When it comes to international news and voting and all these, it's like, really, I mean, I just get people sitting around frustrated, like that test that updated every night. It changes, and we have no ability to control that. So when we have no ability to control something, we lose the sense of being in balance. So if you want to find balance in your life, you have to set up a perimeter. What does it take for me to be balanced? Right. So do I work out on a regular basis? Do I walk a lot? Most certainly I do a lot of hiking. I do a lot of exercises. I I have a gym membership and I have a garage full of all kinds of stuff, which I use every day. And I've been doing that all my life. I'm not trying to become Mr. America. I'm just trying to stay fit. I'm 82 years old and I just want to be able to go hike 6, 7 miles up a mountain and have a good time, get out there in nature and see things. And that's my goals, right? So to me, going for a walk in the woods is very balancing. Uh, do do I want to go to some party or some event or some concert? I used to go to, I like classical music, so I used to go to a lot of classical music events, but now the ticket price has got crazy. And so I don't go to anything anymore. It's like, that's it. For a long time, I had a friend that used to give me tickets because he had a store that sold CD stores, music stores, and he would get tickets, but he had like 4 kids, so he never went to anything. So for several years, about 3 years, I went to probably, I don't know, 20 concerts a year free, right? So I have all kinds of experience going to concerts, seeing all that stuff. And would I go back and pay money to do any of that again? No, I wouldn't. It was interesting a couple of times. After that, it was like, nah, not for me. I'd much rather read a book. So I got 2,000 books in my living room, no TV, and I read a book and try to read a book a week. Um, and then when I get all of a sudden out of books, then I take maybe about 100 books, put them in a bag, and take them down to a bookstore that buys books from you and sell them back to them. And then I buy another $100 worth of books. And so I just, because that's what I do. I'm not advocating you do that. This was not the idea of putting this together. Once again, you don't want to start out becoming Chris. You just start to look and say, why and how do I behave and arrive at value differently? Because for me, I look for what's in balance. I don't want to sit still and look at something. Even when I'm reading, I like to take my book, go for a hike somewhere, sit in a park on a bench and read for an hour, get my book, fold it on my arm, and walk back. I like to move around a little bit. Sometimes I read in my office, sometimes I read in the living room, sometimes I read in the front porch, sometimes on the back porch, wherever, right? I like a lot of diversity or change. Uh, it allows me to be able to practice attending to what I'm doing and not getting affected by distractions. I'm outside, people mowing the lawn. I'm reading the book. I got full attention because I practice. I don't have to go sit in the library, close all the doors, close all the windows, put earplugs in and read. Uh, I want to have some diversity. I want to have range. That's what I call balance. Having that range of diversity where you can look over here, look over that, you don't fall down. Yeah. Do I bang into things occasionally? Oh, yes. I'm very impatient occasionally. I get banged into things. I'm on a project and I'm just like, go, 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 go. And then all of a sudden, I bang into a few things and I take a deep breath and I said, okay, need to find balance here. I don't need to rush, just need to find some balance. Yeah. And I got to sit with it for a little bit. And I said, come on, let, let's respect this body because it's dealing with a world that is changing every day, every minute, every second. The clock is telling you it's changing. Every second it's changing, right? So if you saw something 10 minutes ago and you come back to find it 10 minutes later, it's a different time. It's a different world. It's changed. Some of it changes slower than others. So if you're looking at a rabbit in the backyard, 10 minutes later, the rabbit's probably long gone. But the tree hasn't probably changed any, right? So not everything is on the same time scale. Most of us humans are on a similar time scale, not the same. I, I'm, like I said, I'm 82. My stepfather lived to 93, I think it was. Uh, but I have other relatives that died at 65, 68 years old. So is long life in my DNA? Well, apparently not. I mean, but then also I was a very unhealthy kid. So I can remember the doctor saying I probably wouldn't make it to 40. Uh, I've doubled that. So I guess that's good news, or maybe it's not. I like to think in terms of what people call healing. I like to think of it, that's a state of balance. So to heal means to find some element of balance in your body. And and I find if I'm on a long trip or if I got to be on an airplane for 14 hours because we're going on a vacation somewhere, I can really feel the strain in my lower back sitting in that chair and that vibration the whole way. It's like, wow, uh, it's it, that's what motivates me to do those exercises. I just like want to keep those body parts strong enough and have enough sense of balance where I can tolerate that banging around that occurs when you're on a 8, 9 hour drive somewhere, or you're going to be 12, 14 hours on an airplane, shuffle around, or jumping on and off of buses or in and out of cars, going on trips, going on vacation. I like to see the world. I like to see other cultures. I like to find out how other people define and balance and live their definition of balance. Not my definition of balance, but their definition of balance. And it's all very different. I find that by looking at those things, I can get a chance of me not thinking that I got it together. I'm doing the right thing. Everyone else is wrong. I'm looking at that thing. Wow, look at all the things that I never either needed to do or had any interest in doing, and still maybe don't need to do or have no interest in. But other people are finding value in it. That is fascinating. Like that's really very, very interesting. And and I love to have conversations with people. I'm I get the magic of it. I just walk over and talk to somebody in a foreign country, and I'm lucky enough that they speak English and we're talking. I don't really remember ever running into anybody. I've done a lot of traveling, and I don't remember anywhere in the world where I ran into someone that I'm talking to and they didn't speak English. So, uh, what do you want to call that? Is that magical, mystical? I don't know. For some people, it might be. Uh, but this is once again, it's you make an assessment on people very, very quickly. Your mind does that. It just picks it up. Everything is broadcast. And it's amazing how much discernment you put out when you're looking for somebody. Yeah, I know. we're young and in college and we start dating and we're looking around for someone maybe to be a life partner or maybe not to be a life partner, maybe to be a 20-minute partner. But whatever we're doing, we're in a process of doing that and we're wound up picking up people. Some people find nothing but losers. Some people find these wonderful people that make a magic connection that lasts a lifetime. So when you start to look at this, I would say the person that can't make that connection, and I've had that challenge personally in my life for a period of time where I kept relating to the same type of people, whether it's girlfriends or just guys I'm hanging out with. It's like, but this, how do I find these idiots here? I got this guy that I thought was pretty cool, and now I see he's like all biased and he's got to be this way or no way. And it's like, wow, I need to sever this relationship. I really had to examine myself and say, what is going on in me that all of a sudden directs me to something? That's what I call out of balance. I don't need to be able to have that be an issue for me. I need me to be an issue for me. I come back to me and said, wow, I want to be friends with someone. I want to talk to them. I want them to talk to me. Wow, that's what I need, right? I don't go thinking I'm a certain way and I need to find someone a certain way. No, I really need to go engage with someone and see if that's flowing. If it's not, I say thank you and I move on. That's what I need to do. I need to be able to stick to that sense of how do I get balance and how do I support their balance? And then we can have a communication. We can do something. Yes, I have all my life worked with people that had mental emotional problems or spiritual issues or health issues or whatever. And I did a lot of counseling. And did I like all those people? Well, some of them I really liked, some of them I really didn't like, but I most certainly did the best I could in helping them. Some of them I couldn't even help. So it's like I had to refer them to someone else. I didn't ever feel bad. It's like, I'm glad they left. No, I felt really good because I could see that they all accomplished something. From start to finish, I could see that they arrived. Yes, they weren't maybe having their whole act together, but they went through a state of change. They got some improvement that I could see was working for them in life, in their life. Maybe not in my life. I'm not sure that I would have wanted to be them starting out or even be them when we were done counseling for 6 months or something. But nonetheless, I could see the range of improvement. I could see bringing joy and happiness and some sense of balance in their life. And they weren't on edge. They weren't angry all the time. They weren't frustrated. Much, much better. And then I could separate from them and say, it's been a joy. I've learned a lot. You've learned a lot. We're good. See you. I don't want to be friends, but we'll see you, right? Uh, and that's just an ongoing piece of balance. Right. Now, I know I'm always preaching to the choir. Uh, some of the people out there on my website, I've known for quite a few years. I hear from them every now and then. It's like, hey, you're saying the same old stuff, right? And I am. Um, and that's just a product of what I've learned in life. Like, what is it going to take to work? I, I have no clue. But I will sit with someone, and this little piece can find me someone who could speak English in a foreign country, can find me a little element that's going adrift in someone, and we can have a conversation about it. And maybe we can come to terms. Maybe it won't be doing it my way, but maybe we can come to terms where we can find a better option in your world for you to do it in a more balanced format for you in life. All right. So balance is a simple topic. We're always working towards it because evolution is a thing. It's changing. Change is really small. We don't notice it. We can ignore it for a long time, but the more we ignore it, the smaller our world gets and our ability to interconnect gets smaller. But keep that in mind. Decide what you want to do with your life. Reach out, share that with someone, expand it, have some fun with it. All right. So, any questions on balance or anything else as far as that goes, you're welcome to email me, email Chris at wizardscatch.com. And I'd be glad to answer your questions. I can email you back. So if you email me, why give me an email address, or of course I get the email address, but give me a time that you're available to call you back. And if I have a lot of questions on a topic, I will do a little special video to answer those questions. Oh, on that note, why I think I think next month we get back to playing a little bit more with emotions. I'm not sure. Uh, we will we will see. But anyway, this was fun looking a short one, but fun looking at the concept of balance, and at least the way I see it in life. And whatever that means for you, have fun with it. Uh,